Welcome to my home. My name is Lucy, and we're going to be practicing an all levels yoga flow today, brought to you by Four Corners. And we're just so lucky that Leanna has set this all up so that we can still share our time of yoga together. This will also be playing throughout the day, and you can reference it whenever you would like. And we're just so grateful that we're all able to join together today. So feel free to hit comment so I know you're here, and let's get started. Hopefully you figured this out. This is so new to me too, not professional. Drastic times, we need drastic measures, so here we go with an at-home yoga practice viewing live. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and take a seated position. Feel free to just get comfortable in a seated pose, easy cross leg. If this doesn't fit your body today, please feel free to make a change. Those of you who do follow me, practice yoga with me, I would like you to know, as always, that you're welcome to take the practice wherever you would like. So if you're wanting to do something more difficult that I'm offering, or take a break, you're always welcome to do that. And all you people that have never met me before, again, my name is Lucy, and we're going to go through an all levels yoga practice. So let's arrive. Welcome yourself. Yoga is about connecting, so this connection is about really drawing your attention inwards. So maybe close your eyes if you're comfortable and begin your breath. So as we inhale, if it's available, let's use our nasal passages to take those deep breaths in and those long controlled breaths out. Those of you who are familiar with Ujjayi breathing, feel free to participate with that beautiful Ujjayi breath when you're ready, creating that ha-like sound in the back of the throat as that breath comes and goes. Take your time. If you need to wiggle or move or feel a little loose every now and then, please feel free. We're not here to create any kind of stress in the body other than when you're ready to make a challenge. And let's take those breaths, 3 more with me, inhaling and exhaling. Connect to how that breath feels in your body as it expands the lower belly up through the chest and upper back, and then as it releases. And let's go through one more full breath. Everybody in and out. Good. Again, welcome yourself. Let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts, pressing the back of your thumbs right against the chest. Remember that we are here to connect, to move in a way that helps us inspire a better internal landscape. So by the end of our practice today, we're just feeling more connected, healthier, more present. I'm going to have you take your arms over your head when you're ready and take a nice deep breath in. If you're comfortable, tilt your head back and look up, and then draw the hands out and down as you exhale. Let's try that again. Palms up over your head, look up. Exhale, let them come down. Last time, full breath. Feel even the ribs of your back rise up. And we'll bring them on down. Good. Resting your hands on your lap, let's drop our head down in front and just get rid of some of the tension with an easy swing of the neck and head right to left. And when you're ready, maybe take some bigger half circles, drawing your ear over your shoulder, and just really enjoying bringing a breath in and out as you swing your head. All of this is done with a consistent manner of just compassionately moving And we'll let our head fall to the center and pause with our head paused down just for a moment. Let's work on developing a theme for today, maybe bringing your hands together. We're going to look for the good today as we move through our practice. Look for the good in the body, the breath, the sensations, just directing our mind to experience more positive input to override some of the stress and negativity that is surrounding us. So with our palms still together, looking for the good, hands over our heads together, and then we're going into a side bend, taking your hand to the floor and reaching over your head and just feeling those outer ribs open up. And then inhale, stretching up, and then to the other side. Ha. Good, nice breath in again. Let's repeat that. Exhale and stretch. And one last time. Just a nice side bend to open up those ribs. Good, and then we'll take our hands up again and find our way into a twist next. So I'm going to have you rotate to the right, drop your hands, grab a hold of that knee, and then just look back to the back of your room, holding this beautiful twist with a full breath in and out. Still holding on to the knee, swing that right arm up in the air, and let's lean to the opposite side of the room. This is a great stretch into those shoulders, help them open up, and find a way to maybe look up at the ceiling while you're here. Let's take another full breath, expanding the pose, and then releasing. Good job. Big breath back over our heads, hold here, and then exhale, rotating to the other side and dropping your arms. Good, and taking a breath, looking to the back of the room, full rotation of the neck, the spine. Notice how good that feels. Holding on with your right hand, lift your left up in the air, look up, and then lean to the opposite side of the room. Big breath here. Good, so as we move into any of these poses, we're looking for just that perfect expansion that just feels like you're welcoming space rather than forcing it. Take one more breath here, maybe gaze up a little higher, and then we'll release. Great job. Both hands back over your head, and then let's draw them back to our heart, landing right there at our heart space, and then right back up, feeling really good with this breath, and then watch them come back into the heart. And we'll do that one more time, all the way up. And watch them come into the heart. Already feeling better. Here we go. Let's lace our hands together and tumble the wrists around. Those of you who are not used to being on your hands very much, take breaks throughout our class today and just make sure that your wrists are feeling good as you continue to move. One more big tumble of the wrists, and let's just shake them out. We're going to come into table position next. Hands and knees. So take a moment just to transfer onto those knees, right underneath your hips. Hands are right underneath your shoulders. Let's spread those fingers out. And let's just take a nice organic movement right to left. Hips moving, maybe turning your head and looking over your shoulders. Notice how good that feels to get some space in those outer hips where we tend to hold a lot of tension. Good. See if you can go a little bigger, and we'll do one more to each side. And then come back to center. Let's curl our toes under, and then push your body weight back over your heels. And just notice how good that feels to stretch your feet. Again, you're in charge with how much you push back, so we're not looking for pain in any of our poses today. We're looking just to invite space, inspire a better feeling in our bodies as we let go of stress. Good, come back off. Let's lift our feet and just turn those ankles a few times. Big circles, flex the feet, stretch the toes. And then we'll point the toes and come back into our child's pose as we extend our arms forward and drop our heads for a few breaths. So in this pose, you want to take advantage of your breath moving into your back muscles. So as you inhale, feel that breath expand into the lower back, the kidneys, the upper back, and then let go again. And just try that 2 more times. Also, this is the best pose for really just letting go if you need a break during our class today. Helps to relieve and quiet the mind of stress. And a lot of you are familiar with where I'm going to head. I'm going to sit up slowly. We're going to do a grounded flow, just getting used to feeling the earth underneath us, supporting us. Placing your hands as you sit up behind the kidneys. Roll those shoulders back, pull your elbows towards each other, and if you're comfortable, look up. And then lift with your hands, feeling that support. Notice how good that feels to give yourself some support. This is a modified camel, just a nice way to open up the muscles around the chest and throat. And then we'll come back to child's pose with our palms up behind us and see if you can drop your forehead all the way to the floor. At the same time, drop your elbows and then feel a great breath come right behind the heart space between the shoulder blades. Good, let's stretch our arms all the way back out front now. Spread the hands. Let's rock our hips right to left. Maybe drop your ear on top of your shoulder as you do so. And then we'll slowly come back to our table position. We'll take a little break in our grounded flow and do a few cow pats. As you lift your head and tailbone, the belly fills with a breath. And then into cat as you empty completely, feeling that beautiful stretch behind your heart. Inhale, drop the heart, lift the head and tailbone, cow. Exhale to cat. And then let's just try it one more time. Full breath here. And exhale. Good. From cat, let's come into upward facing dog. Take your time to create a nice stretch in the front of the hips. Some of you may need to lower into cobra here or even baby cobra. And then we'll go ahead and let our head drop all the way down, nose to the mat, and push back into child's pose. So let's put that all together in a flow. A flow is just simply weaving these beautiful poses together with our breath so that we can enjoy the movement, especially in our back with this grounded flow. Press down with your shins, take a breath and rise into supported camel, looking at the ceiling. Exhale into into child's pose, dropping your hands in your forehead. Inhale to extended arms, finding the breath in your spine. Now into that cat pose. Leaning forward, unraveling the spine into up dog or cobra. And then lift with your heart forward as you lower your nose to your mat. And push back into child's pose. Let's do it one more time. Deeper breathing. Everybody inhale, camel. Exhale, head down, palms up. Inhale, extended arms. Exhale, cat. Upward facing dog. Notice how good that feels. Exhale, release. And then join me back in child's pose. Full breath. Take a moment to drop your elbows. And just see how much better you feel already. Let's come back to table and do a little more work here. So set it up to a nice straight back. And I'm going to have you extend your right leg behind you and just push back like you're trying to touch the wall at the other side. Good. And some of you are going to be able to add a balance of lifting the left arm as well. This is a challenging pose. Quite possibly can make you feel uncomfortable, but we are being challenged to find a way to be comfortable even when we're uncomfortable. So really accepting whatever situations come up, that we're able to get through them. We're able to ride the wave and find ourselves on the other side. One more breath in the balance. Good. We're going to drop that left hand down and swing your right foot over to the far side of your mat. And then just bend your waist and try to locate your right foot. Take a full breath in this side bend. Feels wonderful, doesn't it? Good. Lift your leg back up, coming into rising sunbird. Lift that straight right leg as high as you can, and then lift your eyes as high as they can go. Extension on your back. Possibly adding a more advanced pose, leaning forward, bending the elbows. Maybe just part of the way, or maybe chin to the floor. Rising sunbird, look up again. And then let's drop our right foot to the floor and come into a side stretch. So sorry I'm facing away from you, but right foot pushing into the floor, right hand reaching in the opposite direction, and then opening up the ribs to find even more space right between each of them as you breathe. Try dropping your left ear here, and then getting your right arm to lower even further. Good. Let's come into a balance next, reaching up with your right hand and your right leg. Balances are another challenging pose. Finding your breath to carry you through this wave of challenge. Maybe turning your head and looking at the ceiling. One more breath. And let's just come right into our child's pose and fall back with our hips and a soft landing of our forehead to the mat. Join me back in table. Let's do all that on the other side. Nice flat back, shoulders away from the ears. Lifting the left leg when you're ready for a strong stretch back and hold. And maybe adding the lift of the right arm. Again, you're right back into a challenge, but our breath is finding a way to help us. Imagine that you're riding a wave on the ocean and you're going with rather than against. Even though it's challenging, you're finding a way to float and be present. Good. This is a great pose for spines. Helps to balance the muscles on both sides of the back, bring them back into a healthier, stronger, resilient spine. Keep taking those breaths in and out. And on our next exhale, let's lower our right hand and swing the left foot to the right side of your mat. And then look over your right shoulder and try to find that left foot. Notice how good that feels as you take another breath. Open up your hips to the left. Good. Look forward. Lift your left leg now. Let's bring it up much higher, rising sunbird. And then lift your gaze as high as you can too, feeling a bright back, a bright spine. And then maybe adding bowing sunbird. Again, whatever level works for you today, do that. Rising sunbird on a deep breath, look up. And then let's come into our child's pose and just take a breath. So these nice softening poses in between challenges allow the body to reset, the nervous system to calm down a bit. So the next challenge we come to just feels more receivable. We're going to curl our toes under when you're ready. Take your time and let's do a squat at the back of the mat. If you need a modification for knees that just don't like full flexion, maybe take your elbows on your thighs, drop your hips behind you, gently press down with those elbows and still feel an extension on your spine. Gaze is forward. If you're able to come into full flexion, feel free to do that as well. And adding a challenge here if you would like, try to lighten your fingers on the floor. Feel the floor for a moment, take a breath. Crown of the head is rising, and maybe those arms are going to come over your head. So your gaze is soft. You're trying to Articulate a nice long spine, crown of the head up. Palms are soft, breath is full. If you fall, that's not a problem. Not getting up part, that's the problem. That's what we're working on. We'll always need to get back up. That's where we find the win, right? Hands to the heart. Take a moment just to put some energy right back to the heart space. And we're all coming into a forward fold next. Fingers to the floor, hips up. Let's drop our head. And then I'm going to ask you to soften, loosen up, and just walk your hands right to left. So you do want bent knees here, nice loose energy in your back, let your head hang. And your trunk is just moving as far as you can today, right to left. So easy swinging, everybody. Some of you might enjoy grabbing those elbows and just letting even more of that back weight soften over bent knees as you swing right to left. Take a moment to check in with how good this positioning feels in your body. And then let's drop our fingers back to the floor. Let's take a nice step with each hand and arrive in down dog, finally down dog. Always feels like a nice place to land. In yoga, a lot of times we call down dog home. So when we finally arrive, we appreciate that safe feeling of being right here. Shake your head. Take your gaze past your knees and let's search for a focal point behind us. Something that you can focus on in this pose. We call it a drishti point as well. Let's try to lengthen our spine. Down dog is about creating space in the vertebrae, taking time to really lengthen. So I'm going to suggest you start with bent knees, and then if you can progress to straighter legs, that's fine. But just to start out, let's focus only in the back. Head all the way down, everybody. Arms straight. Try to fire your biceps closer to your ears without lifting your shoulders. Try that. Good, and now pull your hips even further back. Nice, and then work on dropping the heels, opening up the knees if you'd like. Breath in and out. Remember that drishti point. And then everybody just shake your head no. As if to shake out anything that is distracting you at this time and just feeling good about letting go and just being present on your mat. Plank is next. Find a nice strong plank. We're going to go ahead and come into a pose in the other side where we dropped our right knee and then opened up into a balanced side stretch. That left hand over your head, that left foot pushing into the floor, and now I'm facing you. Remember I asked you to maybe drop your ear, so right ear down, and then drop that left arm a little lower. Just notice how great that feels. I don't know about you, but I feel this in my outer left hip, and it just feels like I'm compassionately moving into some spaces that just need to be there, that feel better once I've opened up. One more breath here. And now we'll come back to our plank pose. Hold plank, and let's see, how can we hold plank and be more resilient in the pose? I'm going to suggest you create a more powerful breath now. Some of you might need to drop your knees in plank. That's great. Both are very good, powerful poses. It's all about weaving the core muscles towards the center of the body, but expanding on an inhale and reducing, shrinking towards the center on an exhale. Let's do two more. Challenge yourself to be strong here, to be powerful, all good positive energy. Upward facing dog. Some of you might be ready to add a chaturanga. Feel free. And then exhale, release your nose to the mat. Inhale back to child's pose. Some of you might want to take a break, flip your hands up and rest. Or maybe follow me into that grounded flow. Inhale, hands on your kidneys, looking up, camel. Exhale, palms up behind you, forehead down, child's pose. Extended arms, full breath in, cat. Upward facing dog or cobra, and then a roll down. Beautiful, full breath all the way back to child's pose. And we're going to come into another squat, but this time, toes curled under, knees wide. So let's go ahead and take the arms to the inside of the legs. Feel extension. Again, modifiers, wide squat, hips back, elbows on your thighs. And I'm going to shift and face you so I can show you the next sequence. If your elbow's on your thighs, you'll stay there as we move into some twists. Otherwise, your right hand reaches away from you, little tented hand there. Elbow pushing into the inner thigh, and you're going to open up that left arm and try to look up and back. Beautiful open heart twist. Again, modification would look like this. Everybody's expanding their breath, finding a gaze point above. And then drop that arm down. Modifier, elbow on the floor, otherwise extended arm. And then lift your right hand, look up and back, hoping to find a little more of a breath to surround the heart with this pose. Gaze point is up. Good, and then back to your modified or full squat. And then let's try to create more extension on our spine. Just hold here, or again, let's come into another challenge of balance with a breath that helps us move successfully to the next point. Good, so if you're a little uncomfortable, remind yourself it's okay. The next breath will be there. We're just going to pause here and feel that challenge. Forward fold is next. We're going to spread those legs out nice and wide and take another loose movement right to left. Just a few times, right to left, feels good. Ha. And then let's grab those ankles, drop your head right on down and pull your elbows to the sides of the room as you try to draw the crown to the floor. Forward fold. Feet are wide. Try pressing down with each of your toes and then into the back of the heels. Great job. Place your hands on the floor and then let's heel toe our feet back underneath us. I'll shift back to the back of my mat and walk back into down dog. Let's go ahead and just pedal our legs now, right to left, hips swinging. Again, we're still in some soft edge movement here. Let's run through a vinyasa, forward to plank. Feel that powerful pose as you hold it again. And if you'd like, add some chaturanga to up dog. And then release down. Back to child's pose, grounded flow or rest. Camel. Child's pose. Extended arm, full breath. Cat. Up dog. Releasing down. And meeting up with you in child's pose. Great job, everybody. We're going to take the practice into down dog and then to the top of our mat. So from down dog, I'm just going to ask you to take some small steps. Try to strike your heels so you work on moving those hamstrings. And when you arrive, place your fingertips on the shin bones and come into a half lift with me, trying to work on a flat back. Release the shoulders back behind you. Lift just your eyeballs, not your chin, out in front of you. Good. Come back to a fold. Bow your head. Ha. Inhale, half lift. And down. We're going to do it just one more time. Let's try a stronger push with our feet into the mat as you hold. And from here, let's squat. Drop in through the hips, bending the knees. Still looking forward. Let's swing those hands right up above our heads and then let them come down loosely behind you. Oh, that feels good. Let's try it again. Bow your head. Sweep as big as you can. Thumbs all the way back. And then release. And let's do it just one more time, everybody. See if you can reach back a little further before you release. your sides, and we're in mountain pose. Let's go through a flow. So bringing our hands from our sides over our heads, big stretch. Everybody lift up. Look at your hands join and see if you can hold the stretch for a moment, and then drop the hands into your heart as you exhale. Let's try that again. Full breath, a bigger stretch, and into the heart. Hinge at your hips, pull the tailbone to the back of the room, and bow into a fold. Fingertips on the floor, look for your drishti point. There it is. Half lift, look out in front, and then drop your hands. Let's step back to down dog, press back with your hips, drop your head, looking again for your drishti. Exhale. Inhale to plank or chaturanga. Up dog, and release. Push back into child's pose. Rest or grounded flow. Hands on your back, big breath. Child's pose. Extend the arms and the spine with that breath. Cat. Upward facing dog. And a release. All the way back to child's pose and return to down dog. So if you're ready to take a leap or a jump to the top of the mat, feel free, or continue with your small steps. When you arrive this time, let's grab the calves and tuck the chin. And then a half lift. Look out front and into that squat. Drop the hips. Good. Inhale from your squat right up over your head and release. Ha. Hands to your side, mountain pose. Let's try it again. Full breath. Watch your hands join and into your heart. Try it one more time. Reach up even higher and into your heart. Hinge at the hips and fold. Nice flow, halfway up. Step back to down dog. Ha. Look for your drishti. Inhale to plank or chaturanga. Up dog. And a release when you're ready to exhale. Back to child's pose. And a rest or one more grounded flow. Go a little bigger into these poses. Feel them more. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, bright spine. Cat. Up dog. And let's release. Full breath back to child's pose. And down dog. Traveling again when you're ready to the top of the mat. Take your time when you arrive. Find yourself into a deeper pose of fold. If you can, bend your knees, look at your toes and lift them up. And then maybe take your hands underneath your feet so the toes meet the wrists. And then bending the elbows, draw your head a little lower. So I always recommend a bent knee rather than a straight leg in any of these forward folds. Feel your breath as it rises through your back muscles. Good. Let's release our hands one at a time. When you're ready, step just your right foot back into a lunge. Love to glide loosely forward and back just to arrive in our hips a little safer. And then we'll find a runner's lunge, maybe using your block underneath your right hand and taking your left hand into a twist when you're ready. So it always starts right there at the spine, especially the mid-thoracic spine, and lifting up your hand, gazing at it. Modifiers, you can always lower your right knee. Otherwise, we're pushing through those back toes and expanding. Find another breath here. And then just an easy reach behind you and back to the floor. Half crescent, let's drop the top of our right knee and lift the left hand in the air. And then maybe just find a way to bring that right hand up as well. Take our thumbs to the back of the room and take your head back if you're comfortable and look up. Let's pause in cactus next. Peel those elbows away from the heart. Draw them down your spine. Take a full breath here. And then find a way to bring your hands in a controlled way back to your heart. Let's back our hips up, tuck that tailbone, and take a twist. Dropping your right elbow on your left thigh, pressing in to those palms, lifting that left elbow and looking up. And then some of you might curl the back toe up and take a stronger pose of the right knee off the earth. Take another full breath here. When you're done, frame your left foot with your hands, and we're going to step back to down dog. Pause here or run through a mini vinyasa plank. Chaturanga to up dog. And then let's work our way back to down dog, meeting those who maybe took a break. Let's step to the top of the mat, into a fold. Feeling good. Where does that breath belong as we inhale now? Where do we need it? Let's step our left foot back into a lunge. Let's go into some loose gliding forward and back. Just notice how good that feels to bring an awareness to whatever needs some space in those hips. And then retrieve your block under your left hand if you're using it today, and prepare, push down with the feet, and let's lift the right body, right arm, and expand through both arms as you look up. Push down with both of your big toes. Draw some attention to your inner thighs so that you can feel their energy rising and helping the core twist the spine. As we exhale our next breath, let's let our hand fall down below, behind us. And then drop the top of your left knee, half crescent, right hand up in the air, and maybe join it with the left. Crescent moon is all about expanding that spine, full extension, maybe adding a little of a back bend if that's in your practice. Gaze is up if you're comfortable. Find the breath, and then find cactus and breathe here. Oh, it feels good, doesn't it? Where does that feel good to you? Beautiful. Come out of that, bringing our hands to our heart, and let's back the spine up a bit. Tuck the tailbone, and let's come into a twist, dropping our left elbow on our right thigh, and then pressing the hands together to rotate the spine. Gaze is up if you can. And then some of you might curl the back toe under and raise up that back knee, brightly pushing into your toes. And again, inner thighs. Make sure they feel like they're part of the core connection, strengthening you, brightening you. One more breath here. And then we'll frame our right foot. Move your block out of the way, and let's step back to down dog. Again, option to run through a mini vinyasa. Take your time, don't feel rushed. Let the breath lead you in your movement. And we'll return to downward facing dog. Let's shake our head, try to find our drishti point again, as maybe you feels good just to even pedal those legs. And then I'm going to have you come into a squat here. So the upper body is really going to stay the same. Brace the core and push the hips back as if to bring your front floating ribs onto your lap. Let your head reach for your thumbs. Let the tailbone reach back towards your drishti. And then some of you can really load much lower with those knees. We're in a challenge. Instead of holding the breath, feel the challenge. Let it be a part of your experience, but expand it by taking a deeper breath. Holding for one more round of powerful breathing. And then we'll go ahead, look back at our hands and step to the top of the mat or jump. And here we go, back to a loose edge after a nice challenge. You made it through, you're okay, and you probably feel a little better. Challenges help us to build confidence, so don't be afraid of them. It's just about how we move through them with grace that matters, so we don't wear ourselves out. Our yoga practice teaches us a lot of lessons. We've all been learning as we've taken our time to be in these yoga classes and so on. So this is the time to really utilize those lessons we've learned. Apply them to what's going on now. They work in any situation. Let's do a reverse swan next. So push down with your feet, brace your core, arms out, parallel to the floor, and then use the mid-back and the legs to come up, reaching over your head brightly, hands to the heart. We're going to do a chair pose next. So some of you might like to bring your big toes together. A little more challenging. Hip width apart, feet is less challenging. You decide what you would like to do. I'm going to just shift and face you again. Hi. Hopefully this is going well for you. Again, it's challenging for me to just try doing this. So, hey, we're all just doing new things and trying to be as graceful within the moments as we can. And I'm going to guess you're all doing pretty well right now. Let's go ahead and bend the knees and find our way right here into chair. Chair can look different on everybody and probably should. If you need a bigger challenge, just bring it on down. Bring those hips towards the back of the mat. Squeeze the knees together if your big toes are together. And then let's just take those arms nice and easy over our heads. Good. Your gaze is straight ahead. It looks like you're just in a softened, drishti stare, and you're finding those breaths that support you in this challenge. Swing the hands down. Come up from behind and stretch over your head, straightening your legs, and then right back into chair. Here we go with the challenge again. Breath in and out, holding this strong pose. Feeling extension from the crown of the head up to the ceiling as you try to drop the tailbone, bracing the core. Good. Exhale, drop your arms. Come up from behind. Another full breath. Legs are warm, right? Exhale, third chair. Feel the pose. Maybe you're even shaking a little, and that's okay. It's just a conversation going on. Let the conversation happen. Be okay with it. On your exhale, hands will drop, and a nice release all the way up, and let your hands fall behind you. Good. Mountain pose. Let's take a moment. See how that manifested a different energy in the body. I'm going to have you press and root through your right foot, so maybe even close your eyes and feel the four corners of that right foot, the back of the heel, the ball of the big toe and baby toe. And then we'll feel a lightening or a lifting under the left. Open the eyes again. Horizon gaze. Lift up that left heel. And some of you can lift up the left knee. So balance can be challenged when we're stressed. So it's a good way to sort of check in and see if you need some more stress reduction, mindfulness going on. Holding that knee, try to bring it even higher with strength, mobility. And then we'll try flexibility. Hands lace underneath the thigh and pull up all the way. Or some of you can wrap your hand around your shin and pull in. Crown of the head higher, don't buckle forward. Take one more breath. And then join me back in a standing mountain pose. Shake it off. Hopefully if you fell, you're back up. It's all about getting back up, everybody. We have to work on that muscle, don't we? And then let's close our eyes, come back to rooting through the feet. Feel that left foot now and how strong it feels connected to the earth. Maybe even deepening the connection using your imagination. And then feel the right foot get lighter. And then open the eyes, horizon gaze. Let's lift up that right heel. If you can, right knee. So you're taking this at a pose that works for you to find a breath. So if you find yourself holding your breath, I would suggest you back off one pose. Maybe bring the toe back down and just find the lightest right toe that you can. Good, and then let's use some strength to bring that knee even higher. Use your breath, this is a challenge. Lacing the hands up for flexibility next, pulling that knee in, or more advanced over the shin and pulling in. Try to stabilize, try to expand, try to stay present in your breath. Joining me in mountain pose when you're ready. And a little shake, never hurt anybody. Move it around. Good. How are you feeling? Hopefully good. We're going to take it on down, so let's take one more sweeping, big stretch, back bend. Take it all the way in, look up, and then hands to your heart. Hinge at the hips and fold. And then we're going to step back to down dog and come back onto our hands and knees. Child's pose, but let's bring our knees out as wide as the mat and settle your hips back. I like to fold my forearms over each other and just lay my forehead on my forearms. I'm going to talk to you, so I'm not going to drop my head all the way down, but I'm going to ask you to place your forehead right there on your wrists or the mat, whatever feels good to you. And then close your eyes. I want you to feel the presence of your deep breathing in that lower abdominal wall. So you have a lot of space because the knees are open now. I want you to take a full 3-count breath in, hold the breath, feel the belly fully expanded, and then try to exhale to a count of 6. So to yourself, you'll count powerfully in 1, 2, 3. Feel the fullness, feel the expansion of the belly, and then exhale slowly, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try that 2 more times on your own. When you're done, we'll all slowly rise up and swing our legs out in front of us. Good. So I'm going to take my knees bent out in front of me, feet, knees, and hips about the same width, hands right behind the knees, and I'll come into a rounded back, dropping my chin down, and then bracing and dropping my navel towards my spine, and a really slow articulation of the spine down. So slower is better here because now you're asking the core muscles to help you here. Some of you are feeling really strong today, maybe release those arms. Some of you are saying, well, I can only get down about 1/4 of the way, Lucy, before this isn't going to work anymore. And that's great. Just bring down your forearms, reconnect with your core, and then slide the arms towards your hips and lower the rest of the way down. So we're all on the mat eventually. Knees are bent. We're coming into bridge next. So feet are right there, heels underneath the knees. Gently lift up your tailbone and lengthen it. And then push down with the tailbone and take a deep breath into your belly. And then I'm going to have you exhale and draw the spine down. So even the back of your waist has met the mat. Stretch your hands right to your heels. And then take a pre-opportunity to squeeze the gluteals before lifting them up to bridge. So in bridge pose, we're trying to inspire strength in our back, particularly in the gluteals and the hamstrings. So try not to use your shoulders or your jaw or throat. Drop your chin. Keep the arms just gently on the earth. And use that Ujjayi breathing to help you ride the wave of this challenge. You can particularly watch your navel rise and lower as you breathe and sustain the pose. Some of you might try lifting your heels, but it's a little harder to connect to the gluteals, so you've got to take a more mindful connection to them. Last breath, feel the power of the back side of the body. And then refer to the core, lower the spine down, and bring your knees into your chest. Let's just drop right to left. Slowing things down, coming to the end of our practice. So as we do come to the end of the practice, I want you to come back to our intention to try to feel the good, look for the good. I would suggest that this is a tool that you can use throughout your day and every day to help you bring a stop to the chronic stress that you might be feeling. A gratitude practice, a moment of just looking at somebody that you might be having to spend some considerable time with and letting them know how much you appreciate them. Happy baby pose if you would like. You can simply just hold your shins apart or go ahead and have a grasp of the feet, relaxing the shoulders, opening the hips. Gaze is straight up, but I'm going to suggest that maybe you turn your head and massage the back of the skull right to left. One more big breath, and then we'll bring our legs back together and fold. Exhaling, nose to knee. Placing the head safely back on the mat as we prepare for Shavasana. So if you have any props you want to use for Shavasana, this would be the time to grab them. Class automatically closes at an hour point, but that doesn't mean your Shavasana can't go a good 20, 30 minutes longer. That's what I would do. If you want to add some windshield wipers, feet wide, knees just floating right to left with your deep breathing as you slowly bring your body into a resting pose of Shavasana. If you want feet wide, knees bent, drop the knees together. This is called constructive hip pose. This is probably the easiest on lower back strain. So if that's you, you know, hey, my lower back tends to feel a little strained, I would come into this pose. Otherwise, traditional extension of those legs out to the front corners of the mat. No matter what you've chosen, it's beautiful, it's perfect. And we're going to take a breath or two with our hand at our heart and at our belly. Just find a way to bring the breath as low as the lower hand at the belly and then fill up the hand at the heart a few times. Closing your eyes if you haven't had a chance. What feels good in the body right now as you rest and allow gravity to support you right where you are? So the energy of the center of the earth is rising up just to support me right where I am, and that same energy is connecting to you. So together we are slowly dropping into the focus of letting go. Letting go of any last minute tension you might be feeling, letting the muscles of the body melt. One of my favorite mantras is all is well. If we all can arrive in any challenge, any situation, anywhere on this earth, and come to a point of understanding that a situation is just that, and we can arrive knowing that on the other side all is well. We can move more confidently through any of these situations we're presented with. So yoga isn't just for our practice on our mat, for a more ideal outlook of supporting us as we move through our days. All is well. Thank you so much for joining me. Please feel free to stay in this rested Shavasana. Bless you and have a wonderful day. Thank you, Four Corners, for supporting this class. You can also follow this the rest of the day on both Instagram and Facebook. Look forward to seeing you on the mat again. Namaste.